Hey, Dental Nachos crew, it's a special day for me. Even though I love Facebook, what I love even more is meeting people face to face. And I have my friend, first time meeting in person, Dr. Bob D. Bob, my first most important question, what do you think of Philadelphia so far? You've just been here for a few hours, but tell us what you think.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's like a little New York.
Yeah, it's walkable. You bought me coffee, so if you come here, it'd be nice. Bob bought me coffee. If Monty's watching, he didn't buy me any coffee while he was here. So what I love to do, meet people face to face, hear a little bit about their story. You have an awesome Facebook group out there called Dentistry in General. Many of our members are members of that already, but just tell us what inspired you to start this Facebook group and tell us a little bit about it.
You know, I wanted a place that dentists could talk to each other without thinking, oh, is anyone else listening or not? So I basically check people to see if they're a dentist before they get in. And it's been a good place. It's not like we talk about anything secretive. It's just a little study club type of environment.
Sometimes dads like to talk to dads golfing. Moms like to talk to moms over coffee. I'm sure my 7-year-old might be complaining about me right now if she's talking to other 7-year-olds. So I totally get that. So you can join Dentistry in General. My team's on here now. Drop that in the comments or Bob will drop it in later. So Bob, you started this Facebook group. I always like to ask people, what is the best part? How has it impacted your life? New friends, learned about new things, help people. What are some of the best parts about running the Facebook group?
I sleep less.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
But no, it's good to reconnect with a lot of colleagues, people who can better your life.
Yeah.
Basically, you learn, and I tend to, after dental school, not really hang out with a lot of dentists, and the pandemic forced me to start this group, and now I have a lot of friends like yourself. I never knew, I know people now around the world that are part of the little club that we have called dentistry.
I love that. And I think what's kind of really cool about social media in general is I feel like you're my friend. I feel like I text and DM with you more than my friends from high school. But until today, we've never met in person, but you feel like you know the person. And it's just a great outlet to feel like, hey, someone else is going through this in my shoes, whether it's a dentist or a Facebook group founder. I think dentistry can be so isolating, right? You feel like you're in a cave. You're a solo practice owner. Let's say somebody who's popping by this video saying, what are some of the things about being a dental practice owner that you didn't know about in dental school? Or if you were giving some advice or insight saying, hey, you got to be able to make a lot of decisions or run teams. Tell us, how long have you been a practice owner for?
I bought my practice the day before.
Oh yeah, no story.
The day before 9/11, I bought my practice. So I've been in practice for I have my practice for 21 years, but I've been a dentist for 30. This is my 30th year.
I just want to share something based on Nacho math. You've not been a dentist for 30 years. You've been a dentist for 210 years because dentist hours are dog year hours. I know you love dogs. Yeah. So being a practice owner, but I say this in a joking but also realistic way. What is it about practice ownership that, let's say dental students watch and say, I want to be a practice owner. We talk about how great it is to own your own practice and how you have autonomy, but share some of the realistic things. What are the challenges for solo practice owners?
Challenges today are basically, everybody agrees, is the staff.
Yeah.
Finding the right person to work for you, and then inflation, the cost of practicing dentistry has gone up. But our incomes, because of insurance cutbacks and things like that, has been reduced. So those are the challenges. I still think it's manageable, and you can do different things. But yeah, those are the challenges.
I was on a podcast early on, Bob, and I said this line that was repeated a lot. I said the morale of the person prepping your crown matters. The morale of the dentist and the way they feel. And it's not all about money. It's also just about all the things that happen. I mean, you're showing off with your Warriors thing. I don't have my Sixers thing on here right now. But running a team in dentistry, in a lot of ways, it's more like football than even basketball because you need multiple team members in each department. And it can just be overwhelming for the practice owner.
Absolutely. And we don't have any training.
Right, exactly.
We don't have any business training, and we shouldn't. I mean, dental school is so busy with the different information that we have. It's just we're not getting the training. So yeah, I mean, it's difficult to run a practice, but very rewarding as well.
Yeah.
I don't want people to misunderstand.
So what is one of the parts that you say when you go home at the end of the day and you're an incredibly hard worker? You even text me, you still do a Saturday a month, which I admire. I think you're a little crazy. Can you admire something kind of crazy? Because that's how I feel about it. What are some of those rewards? What if someone's saying there's too much doom and gloom and being a practice owner? What are some of the rewards of being a practice owner that you say, this really makes me feel good at the end of the day?
Every time someone asks me that question, it's just one word: freedom.
Yeah.
you are free to do what you want to do. You want to make less money, you cut a couple of days. You want to go on more vacation, you're your own boss. So freedom for me is what, I could probably make more money if I wanted to work more, but I choose not. So that's basically freedom is my main
I like that. And I think what I recommend people do, I always share this. If you want to start a Facebook group, it would be good to talk to you or me first, right? And say, here's what it means. It means that people are blowing up this phone sometimes at midnight. It means that sometimes you can't spend time with your family because of your Facebook group. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't run one. That just means you should get context. Same thing with practice ownership. Maybe practice ownership isn't for everybody. And with the proliferation of DSOs, whether you love them or hate them or think they're evil, they have created amazing positions for dentists not to own practices. And have you seen that as an alternative as well?
Yeah, and I talked about that before, and I'm like, someone who has children and does not want to spend a lot of time in the office, we have an opportunity to work for others.
Yeah.
This could be corporate settings or private setting, I don't care. As long as they treat you well and you're able to do quality ethical dentistry, that's a very good option.
Yeah, and the story I use, Bob, is that, I don't want to glamorize my parenting with my wife, but the other week we got a babysitter in the morning so we could go grocery shopping and get the car washed, right? Yeah. Because that's what you have to do as parents. So when you're parents, you have a whole list of things to do. And when you're a practice owner, you're the parent. So when the clinical day's over, your day's not over. And if you're an associate somewhere, you're more like the aunt or uncle. So if you're working for a DSO or maybe even a group, you kind of get to shut it off at the end of the day, and that could be attractive to some people.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's time.
Yeah,
time is of the most value.
And one of the things I just made me think of this because you're married and I'm married. If your spouse also has a small business and you have a small business, that can be very difficult. My wife, my amazing wife, she's been a teacher. She helped me at Dental Nachos, but she's not running a podiatry office. She's not running a vet office. If that was the case, that would be very difficult. Do you agree that in a marriage, it'd be difficult if there was two separate practice owners?
100%. 100%.
As we wrap up, and dentistry in general is Bob's group. Please join it. Bob's been awesome here. I'm going to give so many restaurant recommendations. I'm going to end on a spicy note because it's going to be about dental insurance. And you and some of the people on the group embrace using dental insurance to the best of your ability. And then you see there's also fee for service and there's also fighting about this. Shouldn't be less fighting. You should make a plan about your plans. Mm-hmm. Don't sign up for every plan. Don't drop all the plans without a plan. Later today, I have Dr. Travis Campbell on. I'm going to have a whole conference this in the fall. I'm going to kindly invite you to come to that. You've been a dentist for 30 years, right? Mm-hmm. Just tell us a little bit about, dental insurances. Some are paying less than they did a decade ago. What is the deal with that? How do you manage it? How big of a challenge is that?
So you and I have disagreed on certain things about this topic, and I've always, up until a few months ago, I've always said, just pick the insurances that you like and drop the ones that you don't. Look at your fees on a regular basis and see if you can operate a profitable dental practice. However, with the cost of living going up enormously, inflation, all the staff want to get paid more, the supply houses want more for their products, and the insurance companies reducing our fees, that's something's got to give.
And I've talked about this. So first of all, I'm out of network as of January 1st. I've been a dentist for 20 years. Uh-huh. So I have no judgment on my vegan or non-vegan. But if you say you're a vegan, but you spent the last 19 years eating meat, well, you're a pretty new vegan, right? So I'm new to this out of network world. So I've been part of it. But what was challenging to me, Bob, and I looked at the numbers, I've been part of my dad's practice. Amazing dad passed away a few years ago for years. The gap between our listed fee and the insurance fee was just growing and growing. Yes. And that was the problem for me. I'm just using numbers. When we charged $1,000 for a crown and Guap PPO paid $850, we go, okay, that's not so bad. Then we started charging $1,100, they paid $820. We might charge $1,200, they're paying $810. So when that gap widened, I think you're on target. You got to pay your team more, you got to pay suppliers more, and it becomes a really Difficult decision. And I just think being aware of it's good, right? I think we should talk about that more. So you did an awesome job on this interview, Bob. This is my one thing question. If you were in charge of every dental school in the world and you could have them learn one thing in dental school, what is that thing you would have them learn that would help them as a practice owner? You could put this one class in. team management, how to make people stop crying, P&L. What would Bob D add to dental school?
Ethics.
Ethics. I like that. What?
Ethics should be stressed more, and how you can. But also, I don't believe you can teach it.
Well, I think if we frame, I'm a big reframer of stuff, and I understand it's like it's really about decision making that has the best interest of everyone in mind, right? You know, I say at Dental Nachos, if it doesn't help, it doesn't matter, and be proud to sell help, right? If it doesn't help, it doesn't matter. An implant over an inch helps, and I'm proud to sell it to somebody so they can chew and eat.
Right,
if you mess up that order and you start to do the sell before the help, that's when challenges happen, and I think that's a really good point. So.
Right.
Awesome, Bob. Thanks for being on with us.
Thank
Nacho
you.
crew, we're going to get more coffee,
Yeah.
and I'll see you guys later. Have an awesome day.